Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys, brought to you by the National Hockey Now Network. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by National Hockey Now, Monday, January 16th. Happy Martin Luther King Day, of course. This very special day annually, so hope you're enjoying it. Obviously, with that comes a lot of afternoon NBA, college basketball, and, of course, NHL. And we're looking forward to breaking down this card. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and joining us today, special guest, Connor Lacouve, joining us here on the show, playing overseas right now in Slovakia for Dukla Trenčín over in Europe. Connor, great to have you on the Ice Guys show. How are things with you?
Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate it. I'm doing pretty well. Just kind of a relaxing Monday night here. Nothing too special.
Absolutely. And you're playing overseas right now. Talk to us a little bit about how you got there. I know you were, I think, a few years ago in the Canadiens organization for a little bit, played in Laval with the Rocket in the AHL, but you were there for a bit. Now you're in Slovakia. Just talk about the last few years and your hockey journey.
Yeah, for sure. So I first got here 2 years ago. It was it would have been the 21-22 season, but it was the COVID season. So I was originally signed with the Hartford Wolfpack in the American League. They ended up kind of like terminating our contracts because they weren't sure if we were playing the American League. My team that I would have been assigned to in the coast that whole division wasn't playing. So I was like trying to be proactive. I'm like, I don't want to sit around and just kind of wait till January, February to find out like the leagues aren't playing. So just kind of through a friend of a friend, had reached out to an agent, and they ended up getting me in touch with this team, Trenčín, out here in Slovakia. So I went out here, I think December 2021, and I was out here for about 6 weeks, 2 months or so. Ended up getting a call like a month in from Brian DeCord, who was the head of goaltending development of the Arizona Coyotes, and they had a spot for me in Tucson. So I went to Tucson, Arizona, had some fun there, and played the season, or what was left of the season, half season there. And last season I went back to Europe. I played in Bratislava for the first bit. We had kind of tragic situation. Team ended up folding, and I went to Finland to an organization called Kalpa. And it was a good experience, pretty fun, definitely pretty cold, pretty dark. So that was eye-opening, but professional, great level of hockey. And, this summer was looking for a spot to play, and Trenčín gave me a great offer, and, I had some success here, really liked the organization, the staff, the goalie coach is phenomenal. He's the man. And it's working out pretty well so far.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great to hear. And it's good that you're enjoying it over there. I know Pavel Demitra played for Dukla Trenčín for a few seasons back in the day. I mean, most of his career was in the NHL, Blues, Kings, Wild, bunch of teams. But I know Demitra had a couple of seasons, I think, over with that team there. So I think he's probably one of the more famous alum, if you will, of the Dukla Trenčín team. But
exactly.
Yeah, and of course, a great NHL career he had for sure. Now, as we always do with our guests, especially ones that are joining us for the first time, we do have a little vault, a little highlight reel, if you will. And this is actually, you know what, if you watch this clip that I'm about to pull up here on the screen here, if you actually look at what we're about to see here, you're going to be stunned, because you're going to think, holy crap, is this Connor Lacouve or Connor Hellebuck that we're about to see here with this next piece of goaltending that we're about to bring up here on the screen. If we can find the damn thing, we'll hold on 1 second here. Here we go. See if we can find it. the sound down. Move it up a bit. There we go. There we go. Look at that. I think that's the paddle of the goal stick, if I'm not mistaken, Connor, that got that puck and kept it up. Great memories of that, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's it. That was a while back, man. That's in juniors.
Look at that.
Yeah, they thought they scored too. I remember that.
That's incredible.
That's an incredible save. That's one of those saves, Connor, where you can look back on life. It doesn't matter what the fuck happens the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever the case may be. You can look back on that moment and say, wow, I'm proud of that. I can put that up on my mantle, my wall, whatever the case may be. You make a save like that, man, you got to say, hey, pump that chest out a little bit and say, hey, look what I can do.
Exactly. Yeah. No, you're right. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, there. Did you? It sounds like you had honestly forgotten about it. Did you forget about it?
Oh, that's a while back, Ian. You know, you gotta live in the here and now, right? I can't be gloating on these junior highlights, man. I wouldn't have a job anymore if I was showing everyone that.
Hey, junior or not, hey, that's one hell of a save right there. It's a highlight reel save. Junior, pro, Slovakia, NHL, AHL, ECHL, doesn't matter. That is one hell of a damn save right there. I figured we would play that. And one last clip we have here. Now, this is just recent. We were talking before the show, Connor and I, that he just recently played like a Slovakian extra league version, their version of the Winter Classic. Here's the clip of this here. Let me just make sure this is not the same one. See, this is bad production here by the host here. Hold on, we will. But you were in a. There we go. This is the right one. You were in a Winter Classic kind of thing with Slovakia, an outdoor game, and I believe this is now you're seeing it on the screen if you're watching on YouTube. Nice. Highlights of it. Look at how nice it looks just from up top. I mean, look at the camera angle.
Is this the rink with the boards of glass as well? I remember seeing
this is actually a football stadium that was just converted into. You can just see like the ice has been put in the middle of it.
Right.
Camera shot, like it looks fantastic with the at nightfall, the lights. There's the two teams. There's the opponents right now coming out onto the ice of Trenchant. That is the opponents of Trenchant. Got the Toucan. You're ready to go. The goalie there.
How cold
now, you said you were injured for this game and couldn't play, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Wow, I like the production values they put forth for this. Look at it. Nice.
Aj zvolený Trenčín má problémy na brankárskom poste, pretože Trenčanom chýba Conor Lakuve. Tu je
I understood that. Mentioning Connor there, but yeah, just really a wonderful atmosphere, wonderful environment there. Was that the first time you played in an outdoor game, Connor?
I played one in Boston University.
Oh, okay.
All right, you played one before, really nice. But yeah, it's definitely again, it's what have they got? Winter? Yeah, there you go. Winter game. And you said this was part of the mini tournament. So really nice, really good. And like I say, I find how many times do they do that over there? Is it like a one game a year type of thing, couple games a year? Because we've always talked about, Alex and I, that the NHL kind of overdoes it. You know, with the Winter Classic, we just, as much as we love watching outdoor games, it's just too many at this point.
Yeah, I'm not sure, man. I think this is a pretty special thing. Like, I don't think they've done it very recently or at all, really. Like, I'm not sure. This has got to be the first time in a couple of years, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, definitely. A great atmosphere, great environment. So cool, and certainly a great experience for those that played it, and definitely those that were in attendance. All right, let's go into our NHL card for Monday. We've got a bunch of games now. We've got two that have already started here. Florida, Buffalo, Boston, Philly, both underway. I actually talked about those games yesterday because I knew we'd be starting at 2 p.m. Eastern today, and 2 games would be off the map already. So let's get into it with Detroit and Colorado. We've got Colorado minus 190 home favorites, 6.5 the total in this game, Red Wings and Avs. As far as this game goes, look, was that the wake-up call that Colorado needed on Saturday night? We talked about the team meeting that they had after losing to Alex's Chicago Blackhawks, and sure enough, they bounced back and they got the job done against Ottawa in decisive fashion, just ripping through the Senators, blowing them out 7-0 on Saturday night. So, the last time I bought into Colorado turning it around was after they came back to beat Edmonton. They lost 2 in a row after that, including the Chicago game. They have the team meeting, and then they explode on the scoreboard against the Senators. Could that be a sign this team's ready to get it going? We'll have to wait and see on that. I think I do lean a little to the Avs team total over. I think the full game over is what I did bet already in this game. I got 6. It went up to 6.5 a little bit. If you look at the series history, Red Wings at Colorado in Denver, it's been over. And the Avalanche, I think, have scored like 5, 6, or 7 in the majority of these head-to-head games against Detroit. So I think it's probably a decent chance for them to flex their muscles offensively. They certainly did that Saturday night against Ottawa. So I would probably look at some kind of either Avs team total over or full game over as far as this game goes. Alex, what do you think here, Detroit and Colorado?
Yeah, I should have grabbed that over 6 yesterday, and I didn't. And now that's up to 6.5. I'll wait and play this over in game, try to grab a 5.5 at a better adjusted price. Like I said, the history suggests these two teams, go up and down against one another. And even though that's not necessarily Detroit's style, at least they know they can't really get into, afford to get into a gunfight with a Colorado team. This is the kind of, weaker Avalanche squad. We still having their bumps and bruises they're having to deal with. So I don't know if it's going to be as high paced, but I still think we see enough goals to get over. So look for a 5.5 in game.
Yeah, and there's a lot of these games that even though they're afternoon games here, the next few, there's a lot of them still without goalies confirmed. And this is one of them. We don't know who's going to be in net yet for this Red Wings and Avs game. Just projections that it will be Husso and Georgiev for their respective teams here going into this one. And, of course, Ville Husso has kind of rebounded a little bit lately from those struggles. I mean, he had a great start, kind of, hit a rough patch, and now he started to play a little bit better. I know it can't be easy sometimes where you are, Connor, watching and following and keeping track of NHL a ton, but just from what you know about Detroit and Colorado, some thoughts from you.
Yeah, no, it hasn't been too easy. That's kind of one of the unfortunate things about living out here is, not really getting to watch many games, just kind of the highlights. I'm pushing for Colorado here. I like Colorado. I don't really know the what I would say for the over here, but I like it at 6. I'm not sure if 6.5.
Yeah, it's gone up. I mean, to me, I'm always saying with Colorado, I mean, when you look at betting totals, I should say 6 to 6.5. Definitely a situation where as long as it's 7 is still the number you need to win, and it doesn't go from like a 6.5 to 7. I think that's probably a more significant totals move here in this one. But yeah, it should be interesting. I think we'll probably see some goals here in this one. This is a fascinating game coming up here. Tampa Bay and Seattle. We've got the Lightning minus 135 road favorites. 6.5 here is the total in this game. The Seattle Kraken, that's got to be one of the best front to back, start to finish road trips that I've ever seen a team play, from what I saw. I mean, that was just from start to finish, like never a letdown or a let up from that team throughout the road trip, which I thought could happen against Chicago, and they made me look like a complete and utter idiot for taking Chicago. And there they are, basically Seattle up 6-1 in the first period, where each of their first 6 shots on goal end up in the back of the net. So it was a dreadful opening period for defense and goaltending from both especially from Mrazek, but wasn't a whole lot better from Alex Stalock in that game either. So, this is definitely now Tampa Bay back home after that road trip. Is this the spot where they find, like, are they immune to a tricky spot? I thought maybe the Chicago game would be a tough spot after that great road, that win against Boston, final game of the trip kind of looking forward to getting back home. Those are usually the spots where Team exhales and you don't get their best game. And of course, they put the boots to Chicago. Is this the spot now, back home finally after that road trip, where this is where they have that flat spot, that clunker? They don't play well, perhaps, but I'm definitely a lot more reluctant to step in front of them here than I normally would. Normally, this is a slam dunk. I'm on Tampa Bay here with Seattle back home off a perfect road trip. That's the angle that I'm always going to look to as my go-to. But I'm going to pump the brakes on doing that here because, you can still have Seattle as a home underdog. You've got the number one NHL star of the week, Martin Jones, in net here for this game, for the expected at least to be in net. He's been remarkable. I mean, he's been terrific lately, and I can't even call him Martin the Beach Ball Jones and can't stop one anymore for this team. I can't. He's been that good for the Kraken during this run. The road trip was awesome. They haven't been as good on the road. Excellent point by Neil in our YouTube chat. That's true. They have not been as good on the road. It does feel like if they're going to have a bad game and a clunker, it's off that just brilliant road trip where they swept it with how many wins did they have on that road trip? Yeah, 7 in a row on that road trip. And they beat some quality teams too. Edmonton, Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, Buffalo, Boston, Chicago. About 3 or 4 of those teams are good hockey teams. So there is nothing fraudulent or phony about how well they played Seattle on that road trip. So I have a reluctancy to go against Seattle, even if this might be a little bit of a tricky spot for them here in this game. What do you think here, Alex? It's a fascinating one to digest here and to break down and contemplate Lightning and Kraken.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to go against this Kraken team now with the streak that they're on. But like you said, this kind of a spot's a bit tough. And not only coming back home off of a successful road trip, but it was an early start time as well. That might be a little tricky. So I like Tampa Bay first period puck line. Lay the half a goal at plus 165. I see a plus 170 out there as well. If they are going to be a bit sluggish, perhaps it's early in the first period and maybe they get their bearings under them and play a better second period and beyond. But I think Tampa Bay might get the jump on them early, so I'm going to go Lightning first period puck line.
All right, Lightning first period puck line. Connor, I'll throw this question at you regarding this game. If you were in Tampa Bay's shoes, a team that's basically gone to the Stanley Cup final 3 years in a row, won twice, and of course lost in the final to Colorado last year, and this is now year 4 of just after 3 years of basically playing nonstop from October, not October, but there's some COVID seasons in there, but you get what I mean, up till June, July, long seasons right till the end. Does that add up on the team? I mean, you're a goalie, so it's a little different than, say, a forward or a blue liner, for instance. But does that kind of thing tax you, and does it add up? And is this one of those situations this year where if you're the Lightning, you say, I just don't know if they can get back to the Stanley Cup final again because I just don't know how much gas is left in their tank?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say just like logically, obviously, I mean, you talk about 3 years of Stanley Cup finals, that's close to 100 extra games played, right? So that's a full extra season. And, as you know, the playoffs, it's pretty competitive. So these aren't just like, throwaway preseason games. These are, hard games. Guys are playing through a lot of injuries. I would definitely see that definitely makes a lot of sense, just like the exertion, not only physically, but mentally that these guys have gone through. And a big component of it too is like you go so far in the playoffs and, you finish whenever it is, May, June, you don't really have a huge off season, right? So you don't have the off season to kind of like prepare your body, but as well as like get away from the game a little bit too, do some fun things, have a vacation. So I definitely agree with you there, Ian. The one thing I think is it's nice with like definitely builds the camaraderie of the team, but after like 3 seasons playing an extra 100 games or so, or whatever it is, 80 maybe. Yeah, I definitely think, you're due for kind of an off year. It's just, guys are playing so often and, through probably so much stress and injuries that, it only seems logical that you need some give.
Yeah, exactly. And certainly too, after all that, and plus intense minutes. Like, it's not just that all the games, hard minutes on the ice, hard goaltending starts and minutes from Andrei Vasilevsky, these last few years for the Tampa Bay Lightning. You know how immense he's had to be in between the pipes here for the Lightning? I mean, that definitely accumulates overtime. And even Vasilevsky, I'll say it right now, he's been human the last several starts. He's not been they almost blew the game against not as the whole team. I don't want to put it all on Vasilevsky. Remember, they almost blew that game against Vancouver last week. They were up 5-2. They made it 5-4, and they nearly tied that game late. So even Vasilevsky's showing some signs of the wear and tear and all the games and all the minutes that have been played by this entire Lightning team over the last 3 years. And you can tell that if they gut their way through to the Stanley Cup final again this year somehow, hats off to them. I don't know how they'll fucking do it. And I don't know how they managed to withstand all the, minutes they've played and games they've played the last few years. I know, Alex, you've talked about that a bunch too. I mean, if Tampa makes a deep playoff run this year, you got to wonder if these are robots and computers, not human beings, because I just don't know how they're going to withstand another long run with just so much wear and tear and physicality and intensity. And they're hard minutes. It's harder to play in the playoffs, a playoff game, including especially a bunch of them compared to the regular season.
Yeah, and over time you have to wonder, how long can they keep up? Not just being a playoff team, but just as a good regular season team, because it can weigh you down so much. We've seen this breakdown happen with these dynasty teams like Chicago, like Pittsburgh, like LA in previous decades. So it would be unprecedented if they can make a run like this. But then you have to wonder about all these guys' minutes, not just with their moving forward as a unit in Tampa, but just the rest of their careers.
So definitely, it's going to be fascinating to watch them in playoff time. So no Martin Jones slander for me, at least for now. And now that I'm being nice and I've made amends with Martin Jones in peace, and I'm not criticizing him, and he's been excellent. Now this will be the day he plays and he gives up 8 goals or something. Watch, that's just the way it works. Now's the day he's going to shit the bed, just when we're finally throwing roses his way right now for his recent play. All right, New Jersey and San Jose. We've got New Jersey minus 190, road favorites, 6.5 the total in this game. The Devils, what a streaky bunch, right? Couldn't get out of their own way for a long period of time. They ascended right up to near the top of the Eastern Conference and division standings, but they are pulling their way out of their funk, and now they have put 4 straight wins together against the Rangers, Hurricanes, Ducks, and the Kings. I would say 3 of those 4 wins were quality wins against quality opposition. You beat Carolina, you beat the Rangers, you beat the Kings. Obviously, throw out the Anaheim game, they're absolutely miserable. But, the games against the other teams, I mean, those are 3 good wins for this Jersey team. Their offense is starting to light it up. They've scored 4, 5, 6, 5 in their last 4 games. They've trended over the total as well. 5 straight overs for the Devils going into this game. So this is a split bet for me here with Devils team total over 3.5 at a very reasonable price, around minus 125, minus 130. And I'm also going to go with that 6.5 up and over the number. We know with the San Jose Sharks, defending has been a problem for them. They've been trending over 8-1-1 in their last 10 games to the over. 7-1 beatdown at the hands of the Edmonton Oilers on Friday night. Gave up 4 to LA in a loss before that. So we know defending and goaltending, regardless of James Reimer or Kaapo Kähkönen, has not been very good for the San Jose Sharks. So I'm going to split this one up between the Devils team total over, since I think they'll do the brunt of the scoring, and also the full game over here in this one. Alex, what are you looking at here with New Jersey and San Jose?
Well, I'm just riding the same thing I've been on for probably the last 2.5 weeks now with the Sharks. I'm going first period over. I'm going over 2 plus $1.20. 15-3 the last 18 with the over set at 1.5. But a lot of these have still been cashing with over 2s. We've been seeing 3 and 4 goals in the first period. Like I said, the goaltending situation for San Jose has just been really rough. And we know New Jersey's offense can get off to a fast pace. I think it's going to be a good back and forth game. So I'll lean with the full game over as well, but I really like this first period over.
All right, I'll throw this at Connor. Jack Hughes, how much have you gotten to see of him, and what do you think of his play? And what do you think of the Devils? Are they contenders or pretenders? Because I know there's people on both sides of the fence. They think this is just out of nowhere. This is just unsustainable. This is a team that maybe doesn't have the physicality to go through a long playoff grind either. That's a legit question, because a lot of their forwards are skilled and a little smaller in some elements. Do they have that ability to power through and play more of a, tighter checking style of hockey when the going gets tough in the spring? But there's no denying that regardless of what you think of that, Connor, you have to give this team just a hell of a lot of credit for making this kind of a big step forward from last year to this year.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Jack Hughes, hell of a player. What was his shift time a couple weeks ago? It was like 6
Yeah,
minutes,
7-minute
30.
shift, I believe it was.
Yeah,
Yeah, insanity.
it was amazing. Yeah. So what was the Devils' win streak at one point in the season? It was pretty
Oh, it was
crazy,
double
wasn't it?
digits. It was a
Yeah, it was
I think
double-digit
it
win
hit
streak.
12.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was.
but then
I'm just going to count it up. I'll answer that right now for you, actually. 10, 11, 12. There was a 13-game win streak they had.
yeah, and then they lost what, like 7 or something?
Pretty
7,
much,
8?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now
So
they're on
it's
the right side of the streak again, 4 in a row.
yeah, obviously a pretty streaky team. Fuck, I don't know. I think the offense has kind of been clicking for them, like you had said, but it depends what Devils team we're going to see in the playoffs, right? You know what I mean? If you're like, hopefully they're coming in with a bit of swagger, with a bit of this heat, and can kind of carry that going, because I think it would be great for New Jersey, like for the fans, to kind of get a playoff team and get some excitement around that team. But we'll see, man.
I think Devils, yeah. Even that Avs and over 5.5. Someone in our chat mentioned it. The combo bet with the Avs and over 5.5, and the Devils and over 5.5, which plus 165 there. With that is not a bad consideration for this game, because again, we expect New Jersey probably to win this one. The one thing about San Jose though is they can pull an upset or two, and they did get embarrassed by Edmonton. So I think the Sharks are coming to play a little bit in this one here today, but doesn't mean they're going to win. New Jersey's clearly found their game again, and we'll see, if they can keep the win streak going. And it's all about their offense again. It's come to life, and that's a big component to this 4-game win streak. It looks like in terms of goaltending here, don't have anything confirmed yet. Who's going to be the starter? Actually, we have Reimer that has been confirmed for San Jose. It will be James Reimer. Vitek Vanacek for the New Jersey Devils. So that looks like that's going to be your goaltending matchup, and probably Vanacek, but not confirmed. Obviously, if you're going to look at props for New Jersey, it starts and ends with Jack Hughes. Nico Hischier has been a goal and point machine lately as well. Hischier is right up there. Jesper Bratt, he's a streaky player just like the team, and right now he's on the good end of the streak. So Jesper Bratt probably worth a look. I forgot to mention props for Seattle, Tampa, but certainly for Seattle, Matty Beniers, is just automatic every game for him right now. He's been terrific. He's probably the front runner to win the Calder right now. He's just been able to score and produce points every game. So there's some prop looks for those two games coming up later. All right, Dallas and Vegas now. Next up, we've got Vegas minus 120, home favorites in this one, 6 the total, pretty much across the board. Oh, this is funny. A funny story. I was doing an NBA show earlier, and one of the people I do the NBA betting show with on Pub Sports Radio, NBA Pub, Ski Profit, great with NBA. He's living in Las Vegas. He said to me, and he's actually the one that pointed this out to me, and I don't think he follows and watches a ton of hockey, but he's going to the Stars and the Golden Knights game tonight at T-Mobile Arena. And he pointed out something to me that even I totally forgot about. This is Peter DeBoer making his return to Vegas here as the coach of the Dallas Stars, and saying that the angle that he's betting for this game is Dallas, just simply because you got the coach and the team returning to Vegas with their coach Pete DeBoer and wanting to beat his former team. And I totally had not thought of that for this game prior to hearing that. And I am still going to be probably on Vegas here, but it does make you think. It does make you stop and think for a second. But I still think I do still like the Golden Knights here, especially with the price you get, minus 110 to minus 120. Dallas has lost 2 in a row against the Rangers and the Calgary Flames, 2-1 in overtime to the Rangers, and then that was a heartbreaker. Rangers tied it in the final second, and then 6-5 valiant comeback attempt, but falls short against the Flames on Saturday. Vegas is off a 4-3 loss to the Edmonton Oilers, looking to bounce back at home. This is a long homestand for Vegas. They've already been at home for 4 games. They have 3 more games on this homestand coming up, including this one. You look at the head-to-head series. Vegas Dallas is 4-2 in the last 6 meetings against Vegas, but Vegas did win the last home meeting against Dallas by a score of 5-4. I do like the Golden Knights a little bit here in a bounce back spot, but at the same time, that's an interesting angle. That is definitely one to really think about seriously. that Dallas is going to be, fired up here, not just because they've lost 2 in a row. They should be fired up anyway. You want to snap the losing streak, but you've got your head coach, Peter DeBoer, going back to Vegas to play his former team. And sometimes that gets players a little extra incentive with that kind of angle. Connor, I mean, as someone that's playing the game, does that kind of make sense that, hey, you've got a coach that's just come in year one, and usually year one, that new coach has everybody's attention, right? The message is fresh. Nobody's tuning the guy out because it's a new message. It's a new voice, and they've had a very good season, Dallas, first year under Peter DeBoer, but they know he used to coach with the Golden Knights. They know he got fired by them in the offseason. Do the players have an extra, win one for the Gipper, let's get one for Peter DeBoer here and beat, the team that canned him last year? Or is that not so much of a big deal?
No, for sure. I think it, largely depends on the relationship he has with the guys. But like you said, they're, what are they, third in their division this right now? Like they're having a great season. They're playing well. So I would assume that relationship is decent. I think, anytime you get to go in Vegas too, there's probably a little, guys are high step and guys are excited to be there too. So yeah, I think some heavy money on the board. And I like Dallas in this one.
There you go. Just based on the angle. Yeah. I mean, what can you say? I mean, that's I got to admit, I am given a massive pause to my initial handicap of this game that I like Vegas. I still think at home they're going to play well after losing to Edmonton. They are still banged up. It's an excellent point in terms of these two teams, in terms of personnel. I mean, Dallas is definitely the much healthier squad. Their only issue is Rope Hintz right now, who didn't practice Sunday. He's missed the last 3 games. He may not return. But then on the Vegas side, it's no Zach Whitecloud. It's no Shea Theodore, 2 of their better defensemen. Daniil Miramanov, who is playing well on defense, is out. Mark Stone can't stay healthy. I'm so upset. Feel bad for him right now at this stage of his career. It's really a shame, but it's just he comes back for 10 games and he gets hurt again. And that's the way it's become for Mark Stone. And another injury, he's out now week to week for the Vegas Golden Knights. Will Carrier, who's been a nice depth forward for them, is out now as well. So I get it. It's a little bit of a banged up Golden Knights team right now. What do you think here, Alex? Stars, Golden Knights.
Yeah, that's a great angle to point out. And, I could see that being a bit of an influence, a bit of spark. But I think this is going to be a close battle. We've seen close games with these two teams going back in the last 6 meetings. 4 of them have gone to overtime. 5 of them have been 1-goal decisions. And you look at Dallas, 2 of their last 3 games have gone to overtime. All 3 games decided by 1 goal. So I looked at the draw here, and it's a shorter price than usual for a reason, plus 330. Normally we see plus 350s, plus 360s with these, but 330 is fine. I think the books kind of feel the same way. This might be a close one. It could go past 60 minutes.
All right, very good. There you go. So that is Dallas and Vegas. We've got the second half of the card. We'll break down the remaining games coming up on this Monday slate in just a second. But first, we'll pause for messages from Gramco.
All right, whether you or your team's game is on the field, screen, racetrack, or the ice, Gramco is for the game. Grown by farmers who spent years developing premium hemp genetics, Gramco provides customers with consistent quality Delta 8 products ready for any occasion. Gramco currently offers numerous Delta 8 products such as vape cartridges, disposable vapes, pre-rolls, gummies, wake and bake coffee, and more. Gramco offers an enjoyable legal high delivered discreetly and directly to you, and is also available at many American retailers as well. Get the best Delta 8 cannabis products on the market shipped quickly and discreetly from Gramco. If you visit www.thegramco.com, use promo code ICEGUYS, you get 25% off of any order, and all orders on the site that are $50 and higher are shipped free with standard shipping. So live elevated with Gramco and check out their wonderful Delta 8 products today.
All right, we're back here, and great, John X. See, that's why. I mean, everybody's different. Everybody thinks, differently about certain things, certain elements, certain angles. And he says in the chat, Peter DeBoer didn't really have a positive impact with the Vegas Golden Knights, so that angle doesn't mean shit to me. So there you go. He's on the Vegas Golden Knights here in this one. It's an alternative way of looking at it, no question. And it's just though that concerns me more than the DeBoer angle is the lack of health right now. For the Vegas Golden Knights. That is concerning. They are a very beaten up team right now. We'll see if they can survive it here today. All right, Anaheim and Pittsburgh. The rest of the games are at night. We've got, I believe, 5 games left here. It is Pittsburgh minus 320, home favorite, 6.5 the total in this game. I'm getting a little crazy. Remember that Seal song? If we're ever going to survive unless we get a little crazy. I'm getting a little crazy here. Anaheim, first period, full game, money line. Yes, indeed. Pittsburgh can't be laying this price. They might win. They very well might. They can't be laying this number. Not in their current form. Not with Casey DeSmith in net. Not with the injuries they're dealing with on the back end. And there's a big reason why I'm taking a little bit of a plunge here with Anaheim in this one. John Gibson going back home. All right, he's a Pittsburgh guy. He's a Western Pennsylvania guy. He is a player that, he seems to play good every time he plays there pretty much. And if you actually look at the last 2 times Pittsburgh has hosted Anaheim, he's held Pittsburgh to 2 goals or less. Pittsburgh won both of those games, but 2-1 and 1-0. I mean, they were really tight games. They were tough games for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He seems to play well when he goes back home. It's worth the shot here for a team that's just not playing well enough. And this is just a form bet for me. This is not a team that's playing the form of a minus 320 favorite right now. Pittsburgh, they're not. They're 2-8 in their last 10 games. They've been absolutely terrible. So for me, this is a dog plunge for me. And I might be plunging. It might be a suicidal plunge here, if you ask me, because Anaheim's been that pathetic. But I think there's reasons at this price to take a small shot. Small shot, make sure you keep it small. I'm doing that. But, yeah, small shot. This could actually be a decent draw option in this game, honestly, because I think it actually won't be an easy game. If Pittsburgh wins, I don't expect them to blow them out and win by margin. I know the Ducks, like I said, have had a horrible year. They're coming off, ass whippings 3 in a row at home against Boston, Edmonton, and New Jersey. What were they outscored? 19-5 in those 3 games. And that's the team I'm saddling up to here at a big dog price. That team that just got their ass handed to them, 19-5 in 3 straight games. But I'm doing it for a small play here. Ducks first period and full game money line. Alex, you can tell me I'm crazy. You can tell me I'm not. But what do you think?
No, I mean it's a bold play. I'm not going to be on anything in this. Like I said, if I were to lean with anything, it would be the draw, because you're getting a plus 430 because of how inflated the money line is. That being said, Pittsburgh doesn't deserve to be laying 320, but I can't back anything Anaheim related. Even 2.5 plus 110 on the team total, when this is a team that's been struggling to get more than 2 goals, except outscored 19-5 in the last 3 games. They could easily win this game 2-1. So this could be a messy one. Probably will look to jump for something, jump in game play, but don't want anything pregame.
Yeah, this team, Connor, is at a crossroads. Pittsburgh. I mean, I think they still want to be a Stanley Cup contender. They want to make one last run at a cup with Crosby, Malkin, Gensel, Letang, this core of players they've had for years. But every time you start to get a little excited about them and they start to heat up like they were a couple weeks ago, they just go right back into, a little bit of a skid. And that's been their season, ups and downs. And, right now it's tricky with Pittsburgh to see them having long-term success in the playoffs. It's just too inconsistent at this point in time for them.
Yeah, no, I liked what you said about Gibson coming back home. I'm hoping you're right. I like that. I like the under. I think he's gonna, steal the game for him. That 2 and 8 in the last 10 doesn't sound too strong for minus 320 there. So yeah, I gotta agree with you there, Ian.
Yeah, I mean 2 and 8 for a minus 320. 2 and 8 in their last 10 games for a minus 320 favorite. You could be playing a Pee Wee Bantam team from the state. Pittsburgh tonight, and I still wouldn't lay minus 320 with them in this spot with that kind of form. All right, Rangers and Jackets next up. We've got the Rangers minus 190, road favorite, 6.5 the total. I actually do have some regret that I did not take a shot with Montreal. It's easy to say after they won, but it's just because, the Rangers they got this illness running through the team a little bit, and there's a bunch of teams that do. Winnipeg's had it. Toronto had it a bit. Matthews for the Leafs had it for a few games there. And you could tell they were lacking energy yesterday. It's just that you could tell it was running through the team, and they just didn't have that much of a spark going for them yesterday against Montreal. They lose 2-1. Now they're on a back-to-back here going to Columbus. And, Chris Kreider is still out for this, or looks like day-to-day they're thinking he might return actually tonight. But again, we'll have to wait and see. Definitely did not play yesterday. We'll see if he returns today. Gauthier is on IR. They had Kratsov and some of the other forwards up front battling less than 100% through this flu bug, illness, whatever you want to call it, running through the team right now. So I'm definitely pumping the brakes on laying minus 190 with the Rangers tonight. Columbus has actually beaten them 2 times in a row, and including earlier this year at Madison Square Garden. The Jackets thumped them 5-1 earlier this season. So, this is one where I honestly dog or pass. If you're going to bet Columbus, bet them at home. That's the one place they do seem to win from time to time. 10-14, only 3 wins on the road. Granted, one of those road wins was their last game against Detroit. Isn't that just classic NHL? And I said this on Twitter. The Detroit Red Wings, they beat Winnipeg and Toronto. 2 teams having great seasons, back-to-back home games. And then they got Columbus, who's got 2 road wins all year, and they're down 4-0 basically after the first period. Classic shit right there. I mean, it's just, you beat Winnipeg and Toronto, and then you're getting blasted at home by a team that had 2 road wins, two going into that game on Saturday night. Craziness. That's the way it goes sometimes. I lean Jackets here. I think you're going to see goals. That's the one thing I'm pretty convinced of. I think the over's probably worth a look. It's going to be Jarro Halak on the back-to-back for the Rangers because it was Shesterkin yesterday. And it's Elvis Merzlikins in net for Columbus. Connor's a great person to ask this as a goalie himself. Sometimes you're going to see it with a goalie. It's so easy to lose confidence, whether it's you just physically are not playing as well or it's a mental thing. We've talked about this, Alex and I, for a bunch, and I'll get your thoughts now with Merzlikins. He's obviously struggling, but it's not all physical in my mind. This isn't just a guy all of a sudden that, he's lost his skill, his ability. This is a guy that had a traumatic experience last year, the death of his countryman, his teammate, Matisse Kivlenieks, the firework incident that he witnessed it. He saw it firsthand, and that's like someone's like his best friend. Yeah. No wonder he's shaken up. No wonder he's having trouble finding his game again. Alex and I are of the belief he needs to get the fuck out of Columbus. He's got to get a new lease on life, a fresh start, change of scenery. It doesn't help this stupid team, and they're still doing it, firing off cannons, in the building, which is it's like PSD, all over again, PTSD all over again for this guy because of what happened with his teammate in that tragedy. I mean, to me, it's a situation where I think for his own future in this league as a goaltender, just physically, mentally, go to another team, go to another city, get a fresh start, and hopefully he can restart and get his career back on track. What do you think about that?
What are his numbers this year? How's he do it?
It's not good. It's not good. It's 4.52 goals against average and 867 save percentage. Now for Kivlenieks.
He's really
not
struggling.
good at all. No.
And how many games?
And his win-loss record is 5-11, 16 starts.
Yeah. So who's starting for them most of the games then?
Well, you cut out for a second. What was that?
Yeah, sorry. I said who's starting for most of the games then? Is it
It's been back and forth with Columbus this year. Yeah.
Yeah, because they've had injury issues, so it's rotated.
Yeah. It's been Merzlikins and Korpisalo. Yeah, back and forth.
Yeah. That's interesting, man, because I think it wasn't last year, but I think it might have been 2 or 3 years ago. He came to the NHL, Merzlikins. I think he was really struggling, Korpisalo was kind of the guy. And, looked like a lot of confidence issues, not, finding himself. And then I think Korpisalo got hurt. And then he kind of got the reins. And it was like 3 or 4 shutouts in a row, or he had like crazy numbers and kind of like revived that whole season. So, yeah, it's definitely a mental thing, man. That's a good comment about the death of Kivlenieks. Like, that's brutal. I know I thought I read a piece about him having PTSD about the cannon that goes off.
Yeah.
And man, that's that's pretty tragic. I don't really know how you shake that. That seems to just be attached with you. But man, he's a hell of a goalie. Like if he goes somewhere else, I really hope he can really kind of hit his stride again, because he's what, like 6'3", 6'4", maybe 6'4", and very athletic, good skater. But man, like you said, it's just a confidence thing. So hopefully he can get it back.
Hopefully he can, and I'm of the belief that if he gets back on, if he gets out of Columbus and is with another team, I'm going to be looking to actually buy low and bet on Elvis when he goes somewhere else, because I do think there's still a good ability there. He was starting to look like he was about to solidify being, maybe a number one goalie for years to come in Columbus. Then this horrible incident happened, and he just hasn't been able to get his game back, and for obvious reasons. It's definitely a lot of it, in my opinion. And you just said the same thing, and you basically, and Alex and I have said it too. I think we definitely think it's mental. Alex, what do you think here? Rangers Jackets.
Yeah, this is I don't know, it's a tough one. Like I said, with these two teams, and like I said, the Rangers, playing kind of a just up and down style right now, they don't seem like a team you can just comfortably lay 190 with, especially in the second of a back-to-back. Halak has played better in the last couple of starts he's made, but he's, like I said, susceptible to give up goals at any time. So I like the overs here, but at 2 and 6.5, these are both ones I want to get a better price on in game rather than betting them out.
All right, so maybe wait for a live in-game. And Rich H., the team was promoting something including fireworks coming up. Like, what the fuck?
On New Year's Eve,
yeah, that is tone deaf. I know it's the canon. I know they've done this at Jackets home games at Nationwide for years. But how about we just shelve that for an instant and think about a human being and a situation that, we can control this? How about we just put the human being ahead of this, tradition, and that's where they failed. You're right. They shouldn't be doing that. No way. And especially if they know it's bothering him as well. Shut the thing off, especially when he's starting. If you want to do it when Korpisalo's starting or Tarasov or any other goalie they have in the organization, fine. But when Merzlikins is in net, don't fire the cannons off. Just don't do it. Have some sensitivity, for crying out loud. And apparently they're lacking that a little bit right now. That's unfortunate. All right, so I like the over, and Alex is looking at maybe something in game. All right, we got 3 games left. Capitals and Islanders, even money, -110, 5.5 the total in this game. The Capitals, what can you say? They just lost 2 in a row to the Flyers. And last check, the Flyers are having a tough afternoon in Boston here in this early afternoon game against the Bruins. And look, that's the Bruins, right? That's obviously an excellent season, excellent team. But for the Capitals to lose 2 in a row to Philly, that's a little alarming. And if you actually look, 3 of the last 4 they've lost, including the loss to Nashville. They only beat Columbus 1-0. All of a sudden, offense has dried up just a little bit for Washington. Can they find it again here against the Islanders? Islanders haven't played great. They had a 4-game losing streak going until they snapped it narrowly against the Montreal Canadiens and only scored 2 goals. I had a loss on the team total. And, I've been betting the team total over for every Montreal opponent since the Christmas break because they've just been decimated on the blue line and struggled to keep the puck out of their own net. And Montembeault and Allen have had issues as well. But even the Islanders couldn't break 3 goals against that Montreal team. So it's not like they're in great form. I know they snapped the losing streak, but it was Montreal, and it was by the skin of their teeth, on home ice, 2-1. I'm going to take Washington here. I think this is put up or shut up time for the Capitals. You need a win. I think they step it up effort-wise, focus-wise, after losing 2 in a row to the Flyers. At even money, I'll still side with the Capitals here, -110. Total is probably I can't bet an over right now with the Islanders. I mean, they've just, even the 5.5s lately with them have stayed under the total. 5 straight unders for the Islanders. So for me, it's just the side here, Washington -110. Alex, what do you think here, Capitals, Islanders?
Yeah, but I saw that 5.5. I kind of jumped at it at first and thought maybe I'll go over. But now, like I said, the Islanders, just their style of play right now has been kind of that, old school trap mentality. Not a whole lot of offense rolling around. So, with that being said, I'd have to lean toward Washington. This is more than likely going to be a pass for me as well. Like I said, these are 2 teams that have played each other fairly close. But I don't feel like this could be a good draw spot either. I feel like this might be a game where we see one team kind of just jump out and move forward. So maybe this is a good game live as far as looking, next to score props. If you see a team, jump out with a lead and then get a power play right after, you can, kind of do some stack betting that way. But this might be a good win for the Capitals here, but I don't know if this is going to be worth betting anything pregame.
No, exactly. And by the way, we've talked about this with the Washington props. You can bet Ovechkin and Kuznetsov and Oshie props. They're never a bad idea, but don't sleep on Eric Gustafson, the blue liner, who's been piling up points. Sonny Milano, Connor Sheary, and Nick Dowd. How many times have I talked about Nick Dowd down the lineup, who's been chipping in offensively throughout the season for the Capitals? So there's some good value options with player props on the Washington side. Connor, when it comes to the Capitals, I mean, it's a team that do you think the Capitals have one more Stanley Cup run in them?
Oh man, that's a tough question. With this kind of current team, I'm not sure. I'm not sure right now. I'm kind of leaning towards no, but
what's funny about Ovechkin
Caps,
here?
don't count them out. You know what I mean? They've got so many great players, and I feel like it's just they've won in the past, and they have those core guys. So it's one of those things where you'd never want to count them out. But for me right now, I'm not a huge Caps fan.
Yeah, I think the jury's out, and they're all caught up in the Ovechkin chase to get Gretzky's record.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, and it's just it's almost like they've forgotten how lately, especially like that's such a focus. It's like their team game has kind of evaporated all of a sudden. They got to get back to winning hockey games. The record will come, trust me. He's going to get it as long as he doesn't have a career-ending injury at some point this year or next year. He's going to get that record. It's a question of when, not if. They don't have to force feed him. Play your game. All right. Play your regular game. Don't try to look for cookies and an extra, points for Ovechkin and goals, or try to feed him the puck. If it's there to give him the puck and he's open, do it. But don't try to force it in there right now. It'll come naturally. Trust me, with him. So I think that's actually something Peter Laviolette talked about just the other day. We got to stick to our team game. I mean, and it's kind of hinting that maybe this whole focus on Ovechkin and trying to get him as many goals as possible is taken away from their level of play just a little bit. And they thought they had addressed the goaltending as well with Darcy Kemper. He's had an up and down season, but there is reason for optimism. He's played a little bit better here in some of these last couple of starts for Washington. He is confirmed in net. Ilya Sorokin will be in between the pipes here for the Islanders tonight. All right, we've got Ottawa, St. Louis, even money, -110, both sides here, 6.5 the total in this game. Look, this is pretty straightforward for me. Ottawa just got truly embarrassed Saturday night by Colorado, 7-0. I heard all the quotes. Thomas Chabot, my worst game ever. Brady Tkachuk, that's embarrassing. That's all I can say. I have no other words besides that. I mean, obviously the team was livid, not happy with the way they played against Colorado Saturday night. So this is a simple, straightforward Ottawa first period, Ottawa full game for me, split in this game. I think, and look, this is a team that they can beat. St. Louis is beaten up. We know that. They are very, very depleted right now. On the blue line, Krug, Scandella, Perunovic, Bortuzzo, all on IR. They've obviously still got O'Reilly and Tarasenko out long term. They are struggling, obviously, a little bit without all these key cogs in the lineup. They're coming off a 4-2 loss against Tampa Bay on Saturday night. That's their second straight loss. They lost to Calgary 4-1 before that. They did have a couple wins in a row there, Minnesota, and first game of the back-to-back against Calgary. But that's a very, very beaten-up hockey team right now, the St. Louis Blues. So there's no question about that. I think Ottawa's coming to play tonight. It's a winnable hockey game for them. And I think and I like the idea of also the first period money line, that we get their best early, especially that first 20 minutes. So Ottawa first period, full game money line split for me in this one. And I could only look over the total with a St. Louis game right now with all those injuries on the blue line. What do you think here, Alex? Senators, Blues.
Yeah, I do. I agree with you. This is a big step up spot for Ottawa here, and I think this is a great price. I got it minus $1.10 as well. Didn't go with the first period look, but that totally makes sense. Also, like I said, it could be a full, complete effort from this team. And like I said, St. Louis, we've seen them just be kind of up and down all year, very erratic, and especially except when their goaltending's off, the rest of the team follows. So I like Ottawa here on the money line.
All right, there we go, like an Ottawa as well. It's pretty straightforward thought process, Connor, isn't it? To someone that's in the locker room in this kind of situation, you just get your ass kicked, you get embarrassed, you lose 7-0. It's a football score, for fuck's sakes, not a hockey score on Saturday night with that Ottawa-Colorado game. They kicked the extra point, basically, against this Ottawa Senators team too, Colorado. You want to bounce back after a game like that. You would think, in theory, it's Ottawa stepping up and playing their tails off tonight, correct?
Yeah, for sure. I like what you guys said there. Definitely Ottawa for me.
Yeah, no doubt. And like I say, when you have Kachuk, Shabbat, the leaders of the team stepping up saying, I sucked, not just that the team was bad and it was embarrassing. They didn't like their game, and they said it publicly as well. So keep that. And it's like, look, if St. Louis is healthy, this is probably a cheap price on St. Louis, at home -110. But St. Louis is not healthy. St. Louis isn't playing their best. They've been inconsistent. And again, injuries have been a big part of it. Their goaltending and defense has been very poor at times. Binnington and Greiss can't be trusted one night to the next. So definitely reasons to like Ottawa here in this one. All right, final game of this Monday card, Calgary and Nashville. Calgary -140, road favorites, 6 the total in this game. Calgary, are they starting to finally get on a little bit of a roll? Maybe. I mean, but you look at it, they've finally put a couple of wins in a row together, which hasn't happened in a while. They beat St. Louis and they beat Dallas, although they were up 6-1, 6-2 in that game. And Dallas roars back to make it 6-5 and a very frantic finish to that one. But the Flames hold on for a 6-5 win. Daryl Sutter was listening to me saying it's time to give Dan Vladar a few more starts. And he gave Vladar a rare back-to-back starts, and he got the win against Dallas. A little nervy at the end, but Calgary Flames hung on. It is back to Markstrom tonight for the Calgary Flames, which I kind of did expect, especially with the way Dallas mounted that push in the third period. And Vladar was really good early, and the whole team kind of fell asleep with the big lead against Dallas. I think that played a part in it. But they go back to Jacob Markstrom, who, look, Dan Vladar keeps on pushing for more playing time and more starts. He's winning games for this Calgary team. He's now, I believe, Dan Vladar 8-0-2 in his last 10 starts, something like that. He's been very good. No regulation losses for Dan Vladar in his last 10 starts. Darth Vladar, as they are calling him in Calgary. So Jacob Markstrom, the pressure's on. He's had a mediocre season. He's had some bad games. He's had a penchant to give up early goals in a lot of these games. So he's got to step up to the plate here for Calgary. A big game for him. And we'll see if the Flames can keep their win streak going. Nashville, they fell to the Buffalo Sabres on Saturday night. I was on Buffalo in that game. It was a great spot to fade Nashville off the road trip. Buffalo has played Nashville tough, and they did on Saturday night. They got the victory against the Predators. Predators looking to bounce back. I'm not ready to lay $140 on the road with Calgary with Markstrom in net. That being said, I don't know if I'll back Nashville over. So as of right now, it's a pass for me with Flames and Predators. Alex, what do you think here? Flames, Preds.
Yeah, I like this first period over laying $1.35 at 1.5, especially now at Markstrom starting in net. Like I said, he's given up some early goals. I mean, the stats are just mind-boggling. And watching it, how many times he's given up early goals. We saw Vladar do it as well. There was a game against Chicago where he started and he gave up a couple of quick goals in the first period. So that's been a real issue, and that's been something to look for when betting some of these first period totals. So laying a cheap price at $1.35, I'll go over 1.5.
All right, over first period for Alex with Calgary and Nashville. Calgary, Connor, was one of those teams coming into the season, the big moves. Obviously, they lost Gaudreau and Kachuk, and everybody thought, wow, this team's going to really be bad this year. There's no way they're going to match what they did last year with no Johnny Gaudreau, no Matthew Kachuk. But Brad Treliving, the GM, moved quickly to replace those guys, bringing in Jonathan Huberdeau, signing Nazem Kadri in the offseason, Mackenzie Weegar, who's a very good defenseman, part of the deal as well. They really went above and beyond to try to replace them. And I thought, they were going to be really good, and they still very well might be. But it's definitely been an up and down, inconsistent season for the Calgary Flames. There's pieces there. They needed Dubé and Mangiapane to really take a step forward offensively. Dubé's been very good lately, but Mangiapane's kind of had a disappointing, he has had a disappointing season after the breakout he had last year. And then Markstrom struggles in net, put it all together, and Calgary's just been up and down. A lot of inconsistency. But I still think, Connor, this team is, if they get their shit together, Markstrom plays better, they keep the goals against down, they improve at the defensive end. That's been where some of their issues have been. They're a team that can still make a run in the spring.
Yeah.
Put it this way: who do you like better, Calgary or Edmonton?
Trading away those guys, it's. I remember looking at those trades, and it was blockbuster right? So it was pretty surprising. Like you said, I didn't really think they were gonna replicate the success they had last year, but who knows, man. Um, I like the total. I like the under for that. Big Saros fan. So
He's good.
I'm also gonna say I want to go with Nashville on this one.
I don't hate it. Like, I don't hate it. I mean, I'd certainly, I'm in the, like, I don't know if I'll be betting the game, but I would take Nashville plus 120 a little bit before I take Calgary minus 140 in this spot. And keep in mind, Saros has been great. UC Saros is in one of the better, I guess, 7 or 8 game stretches of games he's had in a very long time. Now, he's coming off a bad one against Buffalo, but the whole team was just off on Saturday night. They weren't great. They weren't great in front of him. They didn't play really good in front of him either Saturday night against Buffalo. Before that, Saros was on a great run where he had been giving up 3 goals or less, I think, in like 9 or 10 straight starts, including that Carolina game where he faced 60-plus shots. And they ended up winning that game 5. See, you're nodding, Con. Even I know NHL, it's been hard for you to keep up with it. Even you knew about that.
I watch the goalies, Ian. I know the goalie stats. I don't know anything else, bro. That's about it, man.
You just love your position. You don't love the sport. I'm kidding.
Man, it's a different sport. It's a different sport. Ask me about the goalies. I'll have a better understanding. But some of the stuff, I'm clueless.
No, but he's been very good for the Nashville Predators. There is no question about that lately. And look, he had a bad game against Buffalo, 5 goals allowed. But I think in that situation, the whole team kind of played a rough game in between the pipes. All right, Connor. Like I said, we're going to come. We're going to run an ad for Manscaped, and then we're going to do best bets. We'll let you go right now. I know it's getting late there. That's after 9 p.m. We thank you for doing this. Great stuff. Hope you had fun on the show. But before you leave, we got to let you give out best bet total side. If there's something that you like the most of all the games we've talked about, what would it be?
Oh, you guys are putting me on the spot.
Putting you on the spot. Yeah, we have to. Yeah.
Remind me some of the earlier ones we were thinking of. Wait, what was I think the Ottawa.
You liked Anaheim, Pittsburgh under because Gibson playing well there in his hometown.
Yeah,
you like that. You like the Nashville and the under. So,
but I'm taking. I like the Ottawa one. I'm not sure what was the total.
That total in that game is 6. Yeah.
I'm not sure about the total, but I like Ottawa. That's all. That's all.
Ottawa's the best one.
I can't give you 2 guys.
I agree with you. Ottawa's the best way to go for that game, side or total. Whoops. Well, there we go. Yeah, Ottawa's the best way to go, in my opinion, in that one. A great spot for them off that 7-0 loss. So there you go. Connor Lacouve is locked in, no pun intended, with Ottawa minus 110 against St. Louis. Awesome stuff, Connor. Thanks for joining us. Have a great rest of your Monday night. I know it's like after 9 o'clock now over in Slovakia, in Trenčín. And good luck the rest of the season as well with the team. And thanks for joining the show.
Yeah, take care, man.
Alex, thanks so much for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it. Sorry I couldn't be too much of a help or even really know what's going on here, but it was super, super cool to come on and see what you guys do and how you analyze it, all the information you take in. So it was very interesting and very eye-opening for me. So I appreciate you having me on, guys. Thank you so much.
No, absolutely. No problem, man. Appreciate it. Have a good rest of the night and good luck the rest of the season.
Yeah, thank you. Ciao, guys.
All right, there he is, Connor Lacouve, our guest here on the Monday edition of the Ice Guys show. And I'll spare him. I'm glad he's actually heading out now because he doesn't have to watch my monstrosity of the Manscaped ad that we're about to run here. No, he doesn't need to be privy to that. That's for sure. That Manscaped ad. I keep thinking, Alex, I got to reshoot that thing or retape that thing. It just drags on too long. It's just I'm over the top with it. I might do that actually this week.
Yeah, we will. We're recutting. Both of the ads will be recutting pretty soon. So,
yeah, I think we will. We'll do a reshoot of the certainly of the Manscaped. Yours is great. You're professional. It's pop, right to the point.
Mine could be a little bit better. So, yeah,
I'm spitting over my words a little bit in mine. So yeah, the bottom line is reshoot coming up for our advertisements and our great sponsors. And speaking of our great sponsors, here we are, the aforementioned classic Ian ad for our friends at Manscaped. Support for the Ice Guys is brought to you by Manscaped, our good friends at Manscaped, who are the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, courtesy of the Ice Guys. Get 20% off of any purchase and free worldwide shipping with the promo code Ice Guys. That's promo code Ice Guys, all one word, ICEGUYS at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that's about 400 million balls that you can help preserve with manscaped.com using the promo code Ice Guys. You get the Performance Package 4.0. It is a game changer. The Lawnmower 4.0. It takes care of this, among other things. It'll keep you trim as can be. The Lawnmower 4.0, waterproof. Same thing with the Weed Whacker, which takes care of your ear hair, nose hair. I mean, nose hair in particular. You know, I'm getting up there in age, and nose hair is becoming definitely more of an issue. This will take care of it. It feels like someone's tickling the inside of your nostrils sometimes. It pisses the hell out of me. It bothers me. I need to take care of that shit. This will take care of it for you. The Weed Whacker makes part of the package that you get with your Manscaped purchase and the Manscaped Performance Package 4.0. You also get the ball toner. You also get the ball deodorant, keep you smelling good and looking good and feeling good down in the nether regions. This package is really going to make you feel good and look good and look better, slim, trim. That's what it's all about. And manscaped.com can help you out with that. So make sure you take advantage of this. Manscaped.com. Get 20% off and free shipping with the promo code IceGuys at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and use the promo code IceGuys. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. All right, we are back here on the Ice Guys show, and we are ready to wrap things up with Best Bet. Alex, obviously, with our guest with us, I didn't get a chance to just get a first thought from you, but it was good to have you back. Obviously, missed you here the last couple of days. Yeah, that's all I needed. That's all I wanted to say. It's good to have you back.
Yeah, good to be back.
There you go. That's all. Sometimes it's just nice to say nice things every now and then. Right? And hopefully we got some nice things to say about our best bets and that they'll win and put money in your pocket tonight. Alex, what do you like for best bet?
All right, this one's going in about an hour, so you got to be quick with this one if you are watching it on YouTube. Devils, Sharks, first period, over 2 plus 120. This has been an incredible run for San Jose. I think it's going to continue. We're going to see some good action back and forth, so we should see at least 3 goals. Cash just over 2 plus 120 with the Devils and Sharks.
All right, there you go. Devils, Sharks, over 1.5 first period for Alex B. Smith with his best bet for this Monday, Martin Luther King Day card. My best bet, I'm just trying to see here. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with Ottawa. I am. And I'm going to do a split rather than say, you know what, first period or full game. I'm going to include both parts of that bet in the best bet. So a split bet, half on first period, half on full game. That's where we're going here with Ottawa. So Ottawa first period, best available price with that right now is around minus a 105, and the full game money line right around that same price as well. So pretty much minus 105. Ottawa Senators, first period, full game money line. I expect them to answer the bell. St. Louis is a beatable team right now with all the injuries. Senators, first period, full game against the Blues for my best bet for this Monday card. That'll wrap up this edition of the Ice Guys. Thanks to everyone in the chat for joining us. Hit the like button on the way out. We appreciate it very much. By the way, speaking of best bets, what a last-second throw ride of a winner we had with the Canucks and the Hurricanes over 6.5 yesterday. Last-second magic from Besser to get that to 3-3 and force overtime. So yet another Vancouver over cashes. Wasn't easy. But we got there with that yesterday, and thankful for that. All right, great stuff. Thanks to everyone in the chat. We appreciate it. Hit the like button, and those of you that listen on the podcast as well. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. And Rich H., thank you so much for mentioning that. Right before we sign off and say goodbye, we have to talk about Gino Ojic. Just absolutely unfortunate news. Age of 52. It's too soon. Obviously, everything you hear about Gino Ojic, and of course, I was watching him as a kid growing up for the Canucks, and you think enforcer, tough guy, and that's what he was on the ice. But everybody says to a man, gentle giant, one of the kindest, nicest souls you'll see off the ice was Gino Ojic. Obviously, horribly sad news, and the condolences and thoughts and well wishes to his family at this time. I mean, it's just unfortunate. And it's sad to see it at that age, 52, gone too soon.
Yeah, definitely gone too soon. And like I said, one of the toughest enforcers on the ice, but like I said, one of the kindest guys off the ice. You didn't hear much of a bad word about him. So like I said, thoughts and condolences with his family for sure.
Yeah, no question. I still remember the Rock'em Sock'em Don Cherry videos, and Gino Ojic and some fisticuffs would make the cut many times on those Don Cherry videos. So yeah, no question about it. Sad day in the hockey world yesterday upon the news of his passing. No question about that. All right. Thank you to everyone for joining us. Again, we appreciate it. And that's another thing I wanted to mention before we sign off. The Betcast, we want to remind you, Tuesday, January 24th. So that's next Tuesday, 7:00 p.m. Eastern. It's a really good slate that night as well. So Tuesday, January 24th will be our first Betcast of 2023. It'll be our January Betcast, and Super Bowl's not far away, and you know what that means. Weekly Betcasts will be starting up right after that. So every week we will have a Betcast. It'll largely be on Tuesdays like they always are, but looking forward to getting on these live Betcasts more regularly following the end of the NFL season. And one last thing, patreon.com/Ice Guys. Check it out, $10 a month. You know what's there. Goalie charts, totals charts, power ratings, daily betting card, and more. Patreon.com/Ice Guys. For Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Monday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. We'll talk to you again tomorrow on Tuesday for another edition of the Ice Guys presented by National Hockey Now.